So if you didn't know, earlier this year on January 6th of 2026, I closed on a $1.8 million pool house here in Hawaii Kai, and this is the house that I'm living in now. It's my primary home. And I can point the exact moment where this whole journey, this whole thing began. It wasn't like an open house. I wasn't scrolling for homes on Zillow or anything. It was actually on the top of a very popular hike here in Hawaii known as Koko Head. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the whole story, the entire thing of how I found my house off market and how I bought it seller financing, and even things like, how I manifested it, how I spoke this into existence, mailed out hundreds of letters, and talk about the one email that changed everything. Because if you think that buying a house like this starts with just money, it doesn't. It starts way before that. So real quick, if you're new here, what's up? My name is Jeremy Mateo. I'm a real estate broker and investor here in Hawaii, and I help many clients, including myself, buy and sell real estate here on Oahu. And if you haven't yet, please go ahead and like this video, press the like button, and subscribe to my channel. Really helps my channel grow, and I really appreciate it a lot. So thank you, and go ahead and do that right now. All right, so let's rewind back to late 2024. So at that time, I was still living in my condo, and my condo, it was good to me. I loved it. I loved the view. It was on the 37th floor. But I knew that, living there after 4 or 5 years, that it was time to upgrade and that it was time for me to buy a house. I literally told myself, okay, bro, you've been at this condo for 4 years. It's time to upgrade to a house, but not just any house. It had to be in Hawaii Kai. And it had to have a pool, like a sick pool, and that was the vision. It was very specific, Hawaii Kai, sick pool, let's get it. And here's the thing, I didn't have the house picked out. I didn't have any listings saved. I didn't even know if I could afford a house yet. Actually, I did know. I honestly could not afford a Hawaii Kai pool house at that time yet, but all I had was the picture in my head of me in front of a house with a sick pool in Hawaii Kai. That was the goal. Unfortunately, most people just stop there. The picture in the head, that's it. That's where dreams usually go to die. And if you guys know me, and if you've been following me for a while, on Instagram or YouTube, which by the way, you should follow me on Instagram. It's at thejeremymateo.com. I post every single day. Yeah, if you guys know me, that's not something I do. I don't just think of ideas and just let it die in my head. I do something a little different, and honestly, a little delusional. And that's what I always do. Now, if you didn't know, starting in, I'd say late 2024, I began hiking Koko Head every single weekend. I really loved it. I love hiking. It was a great way to get exercise and get outdoors. And if you've never done Koko Head, it's basically 1,000 railroad steps straight up on the side of a crater. If you Google it, you'll see what I mean. But essentially, it's brutal. Your legs are on fire. Everyone's questioning their life when you're halfway up, and it's basically like being on a Stairmaster for 1,000 steps. But here's what most people don't know about that hike, is that when you finally get to the absolute top and you turn around and you look at the view, you're looking straight down at all of Hawaii Kai, and it's such a beautiful view. You're looking at this and you're it's amazing. You got the ocean, you got Diamond Head, you got all of Hawaii Kai. And, that's where I got the inspiration, because I was hiking there. I was in Hawaii Kai every single weekend, and I'm at the top of the view, and I'm just telling myself yeah, you know what? I could live here. It's nice here. So every single weekend I'd get to the top, I catch my breath, and, I look down at the neighborhood. After I decided okay, I want to live here, then the inner monologue became okay, I am going to find a house here. I will buy it, and I'm gonna buy it within a year. I did that every single weekend. I just looked down at the view. I'm I'm gonna buy a pool house here, and it's gonna be within a year. That was my way of manifesting. It was me speaking this into existence. And look, I know some of you guys are rolling your eyes
Jeremy, come on, you manifested this, what is all this woo-woo shit?
But here's the thing. I think it actually works. When you say something out loud over and over again and you just repeat the same thing, and you're telling yourself this, you're speaking it out loud, like your brain starts to take it seriously and you start seeing like all the possibilities, and you think like for me, it's like, okay, I'm on the same hike, I'm saying the same things, I'm looking at the same view, it's gonna happen. Every weekend, I was just looking down there like, yo, this is going to be my neighborhood one day soon. One of these houses, it's gonna be mine. I just don't know which one it is yet. Stay with me though, because this is the part where, you know, everyone gets wrong or they misunderstand about manifestation. So after like a few months of, you know, doing this hike and like claiming to the world that I'm gonna live here and buy a house here one day, I had a moment of honesty, you know, with myself, and I was like, okay, like I can manifest this, I can think about it and say it all I want, but if I'm just doing that, like I'm never gonna get it. Like I actually have to put in the work. Manifestation without action is just daydreaming. You're not doing anything, you know, you're just thinking. So one day, after hiking Koko Head, instead of driving home, I thought to myself, okay, I have some extra time. Let me actually figure out which houses in this neighborhood have pools so I could target them. So that's what I did. I drove around the neighborhood in Hawaii Kai that I liked, and then I pulled up Google Maps and I looked on the satellite view, and literally I scanned every single house that had pools. I literally drove up and down every single road in this neighborhood. I looked which houses had a pool. I wrote down their address, and I did that one by one, street by street. And yes, it was tedious, it's not sexy. Like this is the part of the story that like really no one cares about, but it was the necessary part of the story because, you know, when you're on a pursuit for something great and something particular, you need to put in tedious, like crazy, super laser focused work like this. And from that list of addresses, I started writing letters to everyone. It was super simple, basically like, hey, if you're ever thinking about selling, please let me know because I want to buy a house with a pool here in Hawaii Kai. And that was it. I sent out about 250 letters. Now here's the crazy part. And I want to be really honest with you guys about this. You know, when I sent those letters out, it was around maybe I think June 2025 or I think July, I forget, but it was in the summer. And at that time, I was not ready to buy. Like financially, I was not there. So you're probably thinking like, why would you put all that work into sending 250 letters to houses to potentially buy one of those and you can't afford it? Because I knew like this process takes a while. Like had I started doing this work when I knew I was ready, like it would have took me forever to find the house that I wanted. Because like off-market stuff doesn't just happen overnight. My thinking was like, why not just get a head start, you know? Because honestly, my mindset was like, if something comes up and I'm not ready, then at least I have that house, like I have a lead, and then I can call them up later down the road in the future to see if they want to sell when I'm ready. And if the perfect house showed up early, good. You know, the pressure would just force me to level up, make more money, figure it the f out, and that was basically setting myself up for a good situation in the future. So write that down. Start before you're ready because you're never really gonna be ready. You know, the opportunity will make you ready. So there I went, you know, sent out 250 letters, and guess how many responses I got? One phone call. One day, like I think it was like a month or two after I sent the first batch of letters, guy calls me up. He's like,
Hey, I got your letter in the mail.
And I was like, oh, nice. You know, well, how much do you want to sell it for? And he goes like,
Well, I live on the water.
and then I stopped him right there. I'm like, okay, stop right there. I straight up can't afford that. So if you didn't know, waterfront houses in Hawaii Kai is like at least 2.5 million, probably more too. You know, so I told him, yeah, straight up like, yeah, can't afford that. You know, we laughed, kept it friendly, and that was that. I moved on. At that point, you know, you'd probably think like, oh God, this whole plan was just stupid. It was a bust. You know, did all those 250 mails for nothing. One call, can't afford it. Like, is this a stupid idea? Most people would probably think so. Then 1 month later, literally on the way to another Koko Head hike in the morning, I get an email. The email is from a homeowner, and he basically says, hey Jeremy, got your letter. I noticed you're a realtor. Are you really looking to buy, or are you trying to fish for clients? If you're really looking to buy, please let us know because we are actually thinking of selling. And then the line that he said next totally got me super stoked and made me like super fired up. I was like, holy shit. He said, also, We are open to seller financing. Holy shit. They offered it. You know, I didn't even have to bring it up. Like, was I going to bring it up? Yes, of course. Like, you never know. But literally, like, no one ever does that, you know? And for the seller to offer it, this creative structure of seller financing, it blew my mind. Like if you don't understand, that is so rare. Quick side note, if you don't know what seller financing is, essentially it's instead of me getting a loan from the bank to buy the house, I'm getting a loan from the seller to buy the house. So instead of making the down payment and the monthly payments to the bank, I'm paying that all to the seller. And the agreement is basically terms that we both agree on. So for the right seller, this could be a win-win situation. And if you guys have been watching my content on Instagram, YouTube, I'm always talking about win-win situations in deals like this. They get steady income, you know, they don't have to pay capital gains tax, which was the case for this seller. They didn't want to pay capital gains tax. And you know, the buyer, me, gets a path that a traditional lender might not give me. You know what, in fact, after this video, I'm gonna make another video explaining what seller financing is. But anyway, on with this video. Like, again, do you guys understand how rare it is for a homeowner to volunteer seller financing, like what he said on the email, in Hawaii, on a pool house, in Hawaii Kai? Like, this is a unicorn deal. I had to read that email like 3 times, like just to make sure, like, yo, is this real? And I kept like refreshing it. So long story short, after the email, communicated with the seller, I went and visited the home and met him and his wife, and super awesome family. Like, we just clicked. They're real people. We had real conversations, no games. You know, they clicked with me, I clicked with them, and I loved the home. You know, I saw everything about it, and it was exactly what like I pictured in my mind of what my next home would be. So we got together and collaborated on the seller financing terms. They told me what was most important to them, which was the price point of 1.8 million. I told them what was most important to me, which was having a 10% down payment. And this is where seller financing comes in super clutch, because, you know, if I were to go to a regular bank, they would definitely make me pay a 20% down payment for this price range of 1.8 million. And if that was the case, like, this whole deal is dead. Like, I can't afford that. Like, I don't have that much money. So once I figured out what was most important to them, I told them what was most important to me. We then worked together to bridge the terms together and bridge the gap. Overall, it ended up being basically $1.8 million on a price point, 10% down for the down payment, 6.55% on the interest rate, with a 5-year balloon. Balloon meaning that I have to pay off whatever I owe them on the loan balance, AKA get a refinance at year 5. Which to me was totally fine, because in theory, I should be able to qualify for a loan size of, I don't know, like 1.3, 1.4 maybe, by year 5. The cool thing is that we thought ahead, and we thought, okay, what if I can't refi by that time? Totally fine, I don't lose the house, but my interest rate goes up, which I believe was super fair. Hey guys, really quick, if you're getting some value out of this video, please do me a favor and like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm really trying to grow my channel, and if you like and subscribe, or even better yet, share this video with someone else or a friend, it really helps my channel grow, and I'm really trying to grow this channel. So thank you guys. All right, back to the video. So once we got everything down, I wrote the offer, we worked it together, and then boom, on January 6th of this year, we close, which was a little over a year after I stood on top of Koko Head and was like, I'm gonna buy a house in Hawaii Kai with a pool. I said I'd do it in a year, and I kind of did, maybe a little over a year, you know? So here's what I want you to take away from all of this if you're still watching. 1, get real specific on your goals, you know? Not, I will do this someday, or, you know, one day I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna buy a house, blah, blah, blah. No, Hawaii Kai, pool, 1 year. I told myself and the universe, I was speaking out loud and, you know, claiming it into existence, that what I wanted was this. It was specific, had a time frame and a deadline. Number 2, manifest it, speak into existence. I don't care if you think this is like woo-woo. Like, if you tell yourself something, your body, your mind is gonna believe it. So if you tell yourself, I will do this, I will do that, you're gonna do it. But don't forget, part of that is speak into existence and do the work. The universe rewards the person who takes action. There's a famous quote, I've heard it a couple times. I don't know who said it, so I apologize, but it goes something like, a moving man will surely meet his luck, because luck rarely finds those who are standing still. So if you want luck, if you want to get lucky, if you want to accomplish your goals, take action, do something about it. Because the more you work, the more work you put in, the luckier you get. And I swear to God, that's how I lived my whole life. That's how I'm in this house, because I took some action, you know? Number 3, the 250 letters equal to 1 call and 1 email. At the end of the day, it's a numbers game. So you gotta just put in the volume, you know? To be honest, I was expecting to, like the 250 letters, that was just 1 round. I was expecting to do this like maybe 3 to 5 rounds. But honestly, I got lucky after 1 round. Despite all of that, whether you do it 1 round or 6 rounds, it doesn't matter. It's a numbers game. All it takes is 1. You just need 1. And look, I'm super grateful. Like, thank you, God. Like, thank you to the sellers for trusting me with like this deal. Everything about this, like, I still can't believe it happened. Like, this deal was amazing. Like, I really can't believe I pulled it off, you know? And really, it kind of reminds me of like the time I bought my condo, because if you've been following me for a while, this is like kind of how I found my condo off market. So I didn't buy it seller financing, but the way I found it was through writing letters to everyone in the building from the 25th floor and up, because I was really particular. I wanted this building specifically for the view, and I wanted a high floor. So I only mailed to 2 towers from the 25th floor and up. I did that 3 times and I didn't get any replies. So what I did was I thought creatively, and I went on MLS. I looked back 10 years to see if there was any units that hit the market but didn't sell. And that's how I found my condo. So number 4 is get creative and find a way. I swear to God, there's always a way to accomplish things. And if there's no way, then make a way. But anyway, that's all for the video. Thank you for watching. If you're in Oahu and you're thinking about buying or selling, or you own a home and you think, okay, like maybe it's time, reach out to me. My info is in the description. My email is info@jeremymateo.com. And for more stories like this about real estate and business, don't forget to subscribe, because I've got plenty. And again, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.